everybody, and welcome to Needle Notes with Stitcher Trish and her nerdy husband, Steven.
Woohoo!
Steven is the guy behind the camera and my wonderful husband. My name is Patricia. I go by Trish, and you have reached a Flosstube channel where we talk about all things cross-stitch related and sewing and things like that in our adventures in thus. So today is June the 26th, 2021. It's a Saturday here in Central North Carolina. We've had some absolutely gorgeous weather lately. As far as Flosstubes go, this is episode number 9. I want to thank all of you who have subscribed to my channel and welcome you back. And if you've just happened to cross our channel for the first time, welcome, and we hope you enjoy and like the things that we're showing you and that we talk about, and that you'll hit the subscribe button and come back and visit with us again. It's been about 2 months since we did a Flosstube because our lives are really, really busy. We are teachers, high school teachers in the local area, and I'm a band director, and Steven is an exceptional children's teacher. So the end of school this year was a little bit hectic, as it always is. That's not anything new. But we started to get some semblance of real school back towards the end, and because it's marching band season is actually going to happen this year, we had to go ahead and get things geared up and ready to go, and t-shirts made and the show planned and all the preliminary things done, which I think we've taken care of many of them. I won't say all of them because it's never ending and never stops. So, but as far as life goes, that's kind of what we were up to, is just getting the school year ended, taking care of our students and getting ready for our new students. We finally got a break 2 weeks ago. We had a couple of days off, and then we were lucky enough to get to head out to Ohio because I got a spot in StitchCon. We were out there for weekend B, and I'm going to just kind of get through StitchCon and my experience with StitchCon all the way through the video today. So I'm not going to do a huge just StitchCon wrap up because there's so many great Flosstubers that have done a fabulous job of that. So I suggest you go watch their videos, but I'm just going to how it worked for us. So we also coupled that with a vacation. Steven has been interested in the Adena and Hopewell cultures of the Midwest for many, many years. So we took some time to go visit many of those cultural sites along the way. So it's just...
We interrupt this program to bring you Vacation Slides. The Hopewell and Adena people were the ancient ancestors of the American Indians, located primarily around the eastern coast of the United States, centered in the lower Ohio Valley. The Hopewell and Adena people built mysterious large mounds for burials and for ceremonial gathering places. They also used them as astronomical pointers to the seasons. now return you to your regular program.
It was a lot of fun. It was our first like real vacation since we've been married, because it's, you know, life and band and life and parents and all those things that have gotten in the way. So let's get into some stitching things. So before we went to StitchCon, I didn't have a travel bag because I don't generally take my stitching with me. Number one, we don't travel very much. And number two, I cannot take stitching to work. That's just not something that ever happens for me. So I needed a bag. And I also had, I belong to the Cross Stitch Nation by Heartstring Samplery. I finished that back in the fall and it was just hanging in my closet. The only piece of unfinished work I had. So I decided to put together a bag. I'm a fairly new seamstress, I guess you could say. Sewing is something new I've come along in the last couple of years. So I decided I wanted to put together a bag for myself. No pattern. I just did a little bit of math and figured it out. And this is what I came up with. So incorporated my piece into a stitching bag. Couple of yards of fabric and put it together. And what I'm most proud of is this recessed zipper that's here. And I have great pockets on the inside where I could store all of my stitching gear, my boxes of different things, pockets for my phone and all those kinds of things. So I'm very proud of my bag. I'm very happy with it and it worked great. It held all of my equipment for the weekend. So very, very proud of that. While I was at it, I stitch in a frame here at home. So I don't hold my Q-snaps. The frame does. So I needed a grime guard. So I had plenty of that fabric and I made a grime guard for myself and a bag for my stitching glasses. I need magnification because I typically work on very small counts, 40 count. So cute little bag, same fabric, same lining, and I put a little pouch in here to hold the batteries for the light that goes on my stitching glasses. And I've showed my stitching glasses before, but I'll show them again. These just very easy to go on, and then they have magnification, and all the different magnifying strengths are in a little box. So this worked out pretty well, and I had fun designing and figuring out how to make these bags, and I guess just the sense of accomplishment from sewing and making things makes me really happy. So, and I enjoy that a lot. So that was the finished products that I have to show you, and I made all of that just to take to StitchCon, so I'd have, you know, the things for traveling and doing stitching away from home. Other things that I've worked on over the last couple of months. This is Temperature Library from Christy at Christy's Corner Needlework. Everything will be linked below in the description box. But this is a Temperature Library, January, February, March, April, May, and then here we are in June, and I'm actually semi-caught up. I'm a couple days behind. But I've got little spots for knickknacks that I need to go back and add, and she has a knickknack expansion pack that goes with this. You could use this for pretty much any year if you didn't get started, or you could catch up if you wanted to do it for this year. But you can see we've gotten a little warmer here in North Carolina, and I like how this month is June and it's pretty much all staying the same. So it's going to be interesting to see as the colors change back into these purples and all from the reds and oranges. And this week we're expecting some mid 90s, so we'll get even some more different colors, which I'm excited about. But this is a lot of fun, and I enjoy catching up with it every week. I tend to get caught up and finish out the week. The other thing that I've spent most of my time working on, another piece, is Dragons of Sumatra from Ink Circles. I have been working on this about 1 year and 3 months now. This is where I am at this point. So since you've seen this last, I finished this upper left-hand corner. That's page 3. I finished that up, and I've finished most of page 6. So I've got a little bit of page 6 to go, and then all of page 9. So, you know, this might get done before the end of summer. I'm really enjoying this. This is a 40 count linen dyed by Hand Dyed Happiness, which is an Etsy shop that's no longer in business. But it's a beautiful piece, and it's so much fun to work on. So I'm enjoying that, and yeah, as far as plans go, that's probably what I'm going to spend my time on. I also had a new start in May, which I just kind of barely got going on, but this is Mirabilia's Snow Queen. Okay, so I just got a little bit of a start on this, and then I got into StitchCon, so I'll explain what had to happen after that. But what I got done is just a little bit of her dress and some of the harness for the reindeer. This is on I called for 32 count. This is not the call for fabric, but it's a Bee Stitch Me fabric. It's an opal called Frost, but it's the count that's called for. I prefer to work on 40 count, but in order for the bees to fit on this one, I had to use the correct size to fit all of the beads, and it has a plethora of beads that I will show you as we get to them. I'm using DMC, or actually all the called for flosses. Right now it's pretty thick into the DMC for quite a while. But this is just a lot of fun. It was fun to get that started and going. And I was going to do that for the entire month of May. Well, then when I got into StitchCon, I really wanted to do the Smalls Exchange. So I put that away and found a biscornu called Celtic Biscornu on Etsy from Mila's Cross Stitch is the name of the shop. And again, it will be linked below. So I'd never done a biscornu before. So I had some fabric in my stash. It was just a 28 count basic linen. I have no idea where it came from, or it wasn't named or anything like that. Then I have a Silks For You remnants pack that I purchased. So I just took some of the Silks For You and that fabric I had and put together this biscornu for the Smalls Exchange at StitchCon. So that took me 2 to 3 weeks to get put together. So that was primarily what I worked on for the month of May, and then finished it up and got it ready to go right as we got into June. Then at StitchCon, I had my Mirabilia and my Dragons of Sumatra, and I was going to work on those. Well, it's really distracting when there's 225 people in a room and they're talking and they're working on beautiful things, and you're sitting at a table of new folks that you're trying to meet. So I had to put those away because they were more complicated than I could do and talk and get up and go wandering, go shopping and all the things. So plus there's this, I didn't realize that they had the bell to ring every time you did a finish. So of course I went across the hall to the annex and went shopping and found a piece that I've been looking for a while. Just hadn't seen it in a shop. This is from Heart and Hand, and it's called Always You. I saw this piece being done a good year or so ago, and immediately knew that I needed to find it at some point and make it for Stephen, because this is us. So I found it and went shopping for fabric because, well, they had tons of beautiful, beautiful fabric. So this is a fiber on a whim called Dusk, and I bought a very large piece of it and stitched this at StitchCon. And while I was working on it, really, really cool, Cecilia Turner was making the rounds of the room, and she stopped by my table and went, "I know that piece." And I looked up, and I didn't know what Cecilia actually looked like, so I looked at her tag, and as soon as I saw her name, I'm like, ah, yes, this is your piece. It was really, really cool. So I got her to autograph my pattern, and we talked about it for a little while, and it was just a fun piece to do, and I managed to finish it while at StitchCon because I could go buy everything to do it. Rang the bell, so there was my StitchCon finish as well. So my start and finish, and lots of fun. Now, with this ginormous piece of fabric, and it's a 40 count, and I think I said it was Dusk from Fiber on Whim, I bought another Heart and Hand, which is called Two Becomes One. And I'm going to do it in the same fabric and make 2 little pillows for the bread bowl that I have. And I'm going to use the same flosses so that they're the same colorway, even though this calls for a different floss. But I'll have 2 little pillows in there. And then what I'll do with the rest of this fabric, I have no idea. It's just going to go in the stash. Beautiful, beautiful piece of fabric. And I've enjoyed working on that. So those were 2 of the things that I purchased at StitchCon with those 2 patterns. I purchased floss and the fabric. I'm going to kind of work into haul at this point. So I belong to a couple of monthly clubs, the Bee Stitch Me Silk of the Month Club and the Fortnite Fabrics Fabric of the Month Club. So I'm going to show you my last 2 months of Bestitch Me floss that has come in. So this is the month of April. Really pretty. Moving from left to right. Let's see if I can get this right. This is April Showers, then Lavender Fields, Sea Green, Lotus, and Gala. Really, really pretty, beautiful April colors. Then May, very bright, very different from April. We've got Fire, Sunflower, Sunfire, Carnelian, and Phoenix. So those were my last 2 months of Bestitch Me. This month's order has not arrived in the mail yet. It's been shipped, but it hasn't shown up. So I'm going to hold that off till my next Flosstube. And then my fabric of the month from Fortnite Fabrics, I belong to the 12 Shades of Gray Club. And this is a 40 count that I have purchased from them. This first one is, this is the April one. It's called So Vain. And then I'll flip it around. And this is the May, which is Neutered Dragon. Both beautiful fabrics. I love their fabric. And just going in the stash for a while because I have no idea what I'm going to do with them yet. So again, while at StitchCon, they have the annex, which is across the hall from the main convention area where everybody sits and stitches. But then they also run a Stitchy bus over to the actual keepsake store. So I got the chance to go over there as well. So I purchased some things over there. I purchased some things in the annex, but they had a sale on color and cotton. And I don't have any specific thing that I'm doing with color and cotton. So I was like, okay, I'm going to spend $20 on some color and cotton floss. So I picked out ones I like, and I'm just going to add them to stash. I'm not going to name all these for you, but they're beautiful. Some are variegated, some are just plain colors, but just for stash because I liked how they looked. I purchased a couple of other patterns. This is another heart and hand called Stitching Bird. He's just very, very cute. And they had trunk shows in the annex. So that's where the heart and hand, all their patterns were in the trunk show. Lindy Stitches also had a trunk show there. And I've loved this since it came out. Strut and Tom. So really, really cute pattern that I have no idea when I'll do it, but it'll go for my bread bowl. Go into my bread bowl. And then these two I think are absolutely hilarious. This is Mr. Delicious and Mrs. Delicious. My birthday is in November. I was born very close to Thanksgiving. So anything Thanksgiving-y and turkey is kind of close to my heart. Liz Matthews was also at StitchCon Weekend B. So I briefly said hello to her, but she had a trunk show as well. And Old Friends, which says, your heart and my heart are very old friends. So this is just a beautiful piece that I loved. So I purchased that pattern as well. There was also a Teresa Kogut trunk show. Just the trunk shows are so cool. This is the first time I've ever been to any kind of a stitching retreat. So it was, the experience for me was really quite overwhelming. It was a lot of stuff at one time, plus a huge number of people at one time, which is also overwhelming to me. But just to see all of these beautiful pieces and see the actual stitched models, I fell in love with this. And I have not been a huge sampler person, but it's called Above All. And in the center it says, love, above all, love one another. So this is, I really like this. And I loved looking at the model. So I purchased a sampler, a real sampler. So we'll see how that goes down the road. One of these days I'll do that. Another thing that they have is the brag table, which again, I think I walked past the brag table no fewer than 10 times. And I'm fairly certain that I did not see everything that was on that brag table. Just beautiful, beautiful works. I took a couple of pieces of mine that I finished and framed that I've shown on previous Flosstubes. I took Crescent Moon Dragon and Crosses of the Kingdom. I took those with me and put them on the brag table, but it was just so much beautiful work. Some unbelievably talented stitchers out there. They also had a huge table of freebies. And I thought there'd be, 15, 20 things laying on the freebie table. No, hundreds and hundreds of things on the freebie table. So I made several passes past the freebie table, and every time you go, you'd see something new. So I did pick up a few of the things on the freebie table. I don't know that I'll ever get to these, but they spoke to me at the time. This one is Mother from Creative Keepsakes, and I'll read this to you. It says, Mother, who gave me life and held my hand and caught me when I fell, who never slept to comfort me when I was scared or ill, who praised me when I did my best and wept when I did wrong, who smiled at silly things I did but taught me to be strong, who gave and shared and cheered me on and cared with heart and hand, who will always be a part of me, my mother, my best friend. So, Creative Keepsakes. This is from quite a while ago. I don't see a date on it, but that just spoke to me at the time. Now, if you've watched Flosstubes, you know I have a dragon castle wizard issue. I found these really cool patterns that will get done at some point in time. Enchanting Layer is the name of this company. It's a Canadian production. So I found this, which is really cool. Realm of Wishes. And this one reads, may your home be too small to hold half of your friends. So then I found this one called Celtic Realm. Really cool. It's got some stitches that are not cross stitches in it. The words aren't coming to me right this second, but really neat piece. It's got a lot of Kreinik in it. I really like this one. This one will probably get done sometime in the very near future. Then Cappy Originals. I've done a couple of Cappy Originals over the years, but I found this wizard. Okay, Wizard of Gazing. Really great. It fits right into my stitching realm of things. So those were the things I found on the freebie table that I really liked. So I picked them up and brought them home. So the StitchCon it was really a really neat experience and a different experience for me. I have been a solitary stitcher all of my life. I don't have a stitching group. My mother didn't stitch. My mother sewed, but I stitched on my own, off and on, since I was about 10 years old. And I'd go through moments where I had time to stitch and would do things, all the way through. So sitting at a table and stitching with other people was a different experience for me. And it felt weird to be stitching and trying to have a conversation and not looking at the person and talking. And I had to get over it's okay to still sit here and stitch and talk to somebody without looking at them, and not feeling like I was being rude. I sat at a table with 3 people who I did not know until I got to StitchCon. So it was Kay, Andrea, and Chantel. Chantel and Andrea are from Michigan and were friends before they came together. And then Kay's from Norfolk, Virginia, and we all just gelled together and sit and talked about kids and family and stitching. It was really, really a lot of fun. Very neat experience. StitchCon is just designed for you to meet others and sit and stitch. There were no classes. You could get up and go and move and go to Keepsakes as many times as you wanted to ride the bus. The Stitchy bus is really cool because I have a CDL and as a band director, I've spent a lot of time on buses, and then I learned to drive a bus about 3 to 4 years ago. So school buses have a place in my heart, and I'm not sure if it's a warm place or a cold one, but they have a place. And it was really neat to get on this bus and see how they rebuilt it and fixed it up, and there's lights on the inside. And we got in there and the lights were flashing. I took a picture and sent it to Steve, and it was like, we're going to have to do this to the band bus every time we travel from here on. So, which I know we can't do, but it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the ride over and back. We got caught in a terrible storm. And hailstones and sideways rain and all that sort of stuff. But everybody was a trooper. Got back to the hotel and had to change clothes. So
I was on a hiking trip.
Yeah, Stephen got caught out in the rain. Oh, he has a whole story about his hiking trip in the rain and had on the wrong shoes and on slick bottom shoes. So what's amazing about Stephen is he can go do things and come back perfectly clean. So he went hiking on mud and perfectly clean, no mud anywhere. Absolutely amazing. I've been covered head to toe. The Smiles Exchange at StitchCon was also a lot of fun. I'm very glad that I stopped everything to get something done to participate in the Smiles Exchange. So when you get there and you check in and all that stuff, if you're doing smalls, you grab a chip out of a bag, and it's either going to be red, white, or blue. They do 3 separate exchanges. So I was in the red exchange, which was the first one on Saturday, and they call the numbers, and you exchange gifts, and then you get to meet the person that made your gift that you got and the person who received the one that you made. So I'm going to show you the one that I got. Joyce is the person that I ended up getting her gift, and this is what she made. Beautiful little pillow, and it is Love by Hands On Design. And in her beautifully decorated package, you dressed up your packaging. She also included this really great cute little needle minder, which is 2 little elephants, and some Granny's Threadtastic, which is some beeswax, which I'm excited to get to use. And then a Teresa Kogut card as well, which they're absolutely beautiful. So thank you so much to Joyce. I enjoyed getting your gift. That was a lot of fun. And then I gave my Biscornu, was in a box filled with other cool things from Winston-Salem. And Robert from Robert's Palace of Stitches, which is linked below, he was the person that picked my gift off the table. So it was really great to get to meet Robert and say hello to both Joyce and Robert. It's just a lot of fun. So if you go to StitchCon, you got to do the smalls exchange. And there was a range of everything, pillows, some Biscornu. People came up with the coolest, most creative finishes. Please go watch some of the reviews where they show you all the finishes. They were really, really neat. StitchCon goodies that came as well. Awesome bag, and there's an ornament as well, which you can put your orts in to put on your tree. Pins and a fob at the end. We all got a fob we got to pick out. It was just so much love and so much giving, and of course had to get some swag. So I purchased one of the shirts. It was just a really, really neat experience. And it just lucked out that, number one, there was room that opened up, and it was a weekend that I could actually go. The 2020 one that was scheduled would not have worked with my teaching schedule. And who knows if 22 or 23 will ever work in my schedule. So I took the opportunity to go, and we made a really great vacation out of it. So it was a lot of fun, and suggest that you go if you get the opportunity. It's worth it. A couple of other things going on. We really didn't get back until Wednesday, and we've just kind of recovered from our trip. I have not made a single thing to go in our shop. We have an Etsy shop called Forever Us Needlecraft, where Stephen makes needle minders and scissors fobs or bag pulls, however you want to use them. And I make project bags. And I have not updated the shop in a couple of months. I've not had time to sew, but I have fabric on the table. So one of the things I'm going to do next week is get back in the sewing room and enjoy putting together some bags. And when they get done, they'll show up in the shop. So if you got time, please give us a look over there on the Etsy page. So that's part of my plans. And then I think I'm in that I've got to finish Dragons of Sumatra stage. So that's kind of my plan at this point, is to finish that when I'm doing stitching time, sitting downstairs. And that's when we watch TV. I tend to stitch while we watch TV, and get in the sewing room and get some things done. So, and enjoy our summer. This is the first summer we've had off that there's not, a pandemic and weird stuff going on. And we plan to make several trips up the road about an hour to go see the grandson and, the children and the parents. They'll be included in that as well. So we hope you're having a great summer so far, and intend to be back with you pretty soon. So thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon, and you all take care.